Hello everyone, welcome to the CTV News on Calabash TV and on the Wave Radio 94.5. I am Melissa Joseph. Well, on the day that the island's premier learning institution launches an initiative that will examine matters of disaster risk reduction in schools, there was a forceful reminder of the hazards that loom. For a third day this week, an earthquake rocked St. Lucia. It occurred hours after the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College revealed details about a regional effort at disaster mitigation. More on that in a moment. First, the University of the West Indies Seismic Research Center has confirmed that a 4.8 magnitude earthquake occurred in the Caribbean and was felt in St. Lucia, Dominica and Martinique at around 2:30 p.m. It occurred at latitude 14.97 degrees north, longitude 60.54 degrees west, at a depth of 39 kilometers. Thursday's event follows a series of quakes. On Tuesday, two tremors, 4.6 and 4.8 in magnitude, were felt in Barbados, St. Lucia, and Martinique. Four earthquakes with magnitudes ranging from 3.8 to 4.5 rattled the Caribbean on Sunday, but there were no immediate reports of injury or damage. Early Sunday, an earthquake with a magnitude of 3.8 struck 123 kilometers northeast of Bridgetown, Barbados. It was also felt here in St. Lucia and in Martinique. 28 minutes later, a 4.5 magnitude earthquake struck at 136 kilometers northeast of Bridgetown and 270 kilometers east of Castries and 295 kilometers east-southeast of Fort-de-France, Martinique. That quake had a depth of 82 kilometers. And the third quake occurred at 8:36 a.m. with a magnitude of 3.9. The last earthquake on Sunday, according to the seismic unit, occurred 59 kilometers northwest of Port-of-Spain, Trinidad. It had a magnitude of 3.9. Since the 6.6 magnitude quake that shook Barbados, St. Lucia and Martinique in mid-July, there have been more than 200 earthquake events recorded in the vicinity of these three islands. The seismic unit has warned the region to brace for a major tremor. And as you heard earlier, the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College has launched a regional initiative aimed at disaster risk reduction in schools. It is the first Caribbean Forum on Disaster Risk Reduction in Education. At that forum, to be held October 12 to the 15th, participants will examine implementation and best practices in the Caribbean. Clarence Henry is the chairman of the steering committee.
The point of bringing CARICOM countries together also has to do with the second and third objectives, that being to allow for the sharing of best practices in addressing disaster risk, and thirdly, of course, and a critical outcome of the forum itself is that of bringing together the heads of the ministries of education, that being the ministers of education, and the heads of the national tertiary institutions. In the case of, and before I conclude that third objective, in the case of the national tertiary institutions, we have universities represented in terms of the University of Trinidad and Tobago, the UWI Open Campus, right? You have University of Belize. We have national colleges represented, the College of the Bahamas, of course the Arthur Lewis Community College, again leading institution. You have St. Vincent and Grenadines Community College. We have TAMCC, T.E. Marishaw in Grenada. You have the Antigua State College, the Dominica State College, and so forth, right? So the hope is that at the end of the day, the leaders in the education sector, which include the heads of those national tertiary institutions, would be able to dialogue, would be able to, in discussing the matter, come up with regional type approaches.
The college is receiving support from the U.S. Agency for International Development, the Office of Foreign Disaster Assistance. Given the groundbreaking nature of the event, a call has been made for the initiative to turn out results.
I believe each country must go back, its representative organization, educational institutions, representatives from wherever they come from, will go back to the country and galvanize a movement to deal with the issue of natural disaster in the Caribbean with a view to mitigating the effect and the impact of whatever may happen.
Dr. Robert Lewis, the Education Minister, says such action is long overdue, especially given the scope of disasters being experienced here and the wider region.
Because of the Christmas Eve trough that affected, and even Hurricane Thomas in 2010, which affected our schools. Take a school like Dame Paulette Louise that was built sometime in the 2000s. Dame Paulette Louise sits in an area that is flood prone. And yet the school was built at ground level. That means when Hurricane Thomas hits in Louise, all that water, what happened? A lot of the water went into classrooms, into computer rooms, and we lost valuable resources that we ought not to have lost. And since this happened, and the trough in 2013, the Ministry of Education has taken a position that all schools that are built now, there will be an elevated platform for the first floor of schools, especially when they are found in low-lying areas. And Dame Paulette Louise is not the only school. You just have to take a walk. Well, you not walk all the way to Clendon Mason. Take a little drive down to Denver, and you'll see that Clendon Mason, the primary school, all of them are in areas that get flooded. And it's not that we didn't know these things, but we need to take an approach to mitigating the consequences of disasters.
12 countries will be participating in that October forum.